With the anniversary of World of Tanks being 10 years, there is a whole lot of new gifts that will be added to World of Tanks console. So today's news video is going to look at exactly what these gifts are, some of the extra bits, as well as the earn operation for the King Dragon, which is a secondary vehicle that is part of basically the same tank that you can basically pick up as part of the Season Pass, which is a weird one that they didn't just include it in the Season Pass, but oh well, at least we've got it either way. So straight off the bat, we're going to roll into the 10 years of Tanks gifts and what we actually get. So there is an anniversary destruction challenge and free logging gifts are available to all people who play the game, and if you claim the new MBTB tier 10 heavy tank with a discount or for free, so you'll be able to get that. And essentially it's dependent on, I guess, a few different things, and we'll see exactly what those things are as we roll through the article. But straight away, the Earn Challenge Anniversary Destruction is available from the 13th of February, which is Tuesday next week. And who doesn't like celebrating with a boom? At least that's what Wargaming is saying. And all throughout the week, starting on the 13th of February, Repeatable Challenge will reward you with a random drop each time you complete its goal. Included in the possible rewards is a new garage gear item, the Dueling Toy Tanks gear, which is these two by the looks of it, featuring a replica Sherman and a replica Tiger as tribute to some of the community's most played vehicles. And these toy tanks don't just sit in your garage, they'll race around and even ram each other in the most adorable little mock battle you'll ever see, so you can have that in your garage if you really wanted it, and that can be gotten from this challenge. So other than that, how do you actually do it? Well, it is destroy 3 or more vehicles in any number of battles, and you can basically receive one of these items. You'll either get 35k silver, enhanced hole patch kit, and you can get 2 of those in one, and consumables bundle, which come with a med kit and repair kit, both 2 lots of those, and a ×4 vehicle XP booster is another one, and ×10 commander XP is another one, and then of course the dueling toy tanks, which is the garage gear, and that is a possibility as well. Usually what Wargaming will do is that the silver is what you'll get most likely, then you have some of the premium consumables which are kind of more like or the similar sort of I guess probability, and then you get reduced probability for some of the other things. And of course the garage gear probably is on the lower tier of probability. Now, nothing guaranteed here, this is just what usually happens with these sorts of things, is that the garage gear will be slightly rarer. Whether that's the actual case, we're not entirely sure, and it's just speculation. So hopefully we'll be seeing it as like an even, so that you're just as likely to get the garage gear as you are to get 35k silver, but probably unlikely that that is going to be the case. Either way, the free anniversary logging gift. So no matter how long you've been playing the game, the first time you log in from the 13th of February to the 4th of March, you'll find gifts credited to your account. And these will be celebration war chests. There will also be garage gear 10-year display as well, so you can put that in your garage if you want to. And the celebration war chests, I'm not entirely sure what we actually have in these, but we can have a quick look now. So you have the possibility of getting yourself a premium tank, and because you have 3 of them, the drop rate of a premium tank is 10.5%, so you have roughly about 31.5% chance of actually picking up a premium tank. It may or may not happen as you roll through, so you know, you just gotta hope. And essentially you can purchase these for gold as well if you really wanted to. 1 war chest is 500 gold, 5 of them is 2,500 gold, and 25 is 12,500 gold. Whether or not they're actually worth it, yeah, it's to be seen. And of course we'll open up some of these as we go through, and open up my rewards that we actually got at some point later on down the line. And so here are the premium tanks that you can actually pick up. There's a lot of kind of lower tier vehicles in here. They're not all brilliant. You've got a tier 4, I believe, in the FCM 30, or it might even be tier 3 actually. So this is like a broken tank destroyer that has 400 meters view range at tier 3 when everyone else has like 280 or something. So yep, you have ridiculous view range and a pretty meaty main armament, alongside having a variety of different other vehicles from the Cromwell Snakebite, the Rover 237, the Panzer 5.4, which is always a great one when they reward that out in these sorts of things, the Barras, the E25, lots of kind of iconic vehicles in here. that you can get alongside getting yourself the tier 10s as well. Usually what this will be is, although the 10.5% gives you a premium tank, usually what happens is that they are kind of, like we said with the previous rewards with the garage gear, they're going to be probably weighted such that the rare rewards that you see here are going to be more common, and then the epic rewards are going to be less common out of that 10.5%. So you might open, 10 premium tanks at 10%, but actually you only end up getting, 8 rare items and 2 epic ones. It's not necessarily that it's going to be even in the distribution. So you're probably less likely to get a T58 heavy as you are a FCM pack 40. So that's kind of how I would interpret what that's going to be like. Now, it doesn't seem like Wargaming have kind of given us the percentages, which would be helpful as to kind of the percentage chance that you can get each of these vehicles. But yeah, I don't know, Wargaming just deciding not to share that, which is fine. But yeah, just be aware that it's probably going to be the case that it's not as likely to get a T58 heavy as it is to get the low tier vehicles. So if you're thinking about opening them, hoping to get premium tanks, you're probably not going to get the premium tanks that you want. But, maybe you want the low tier ones. I don't know. Yeah, either way, you can get yourself silver boosters, commander boosters, XP boosters, silver, blah, 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 premium consumables. And they're all available in the celebration chests, and they're free. At least 3 of them are free when you log in. And that's available to everyone, which is brilliant. Now, alongside that, there is the new tank. So this is an American Tier 10 MBT-B heavy tank, which looks very interesting. It almost looks like a hybrid between, I guess, like a Yo tank, but also like an AMX 30 for some reason, because of the fact that it just has this weird bulbous shape. This is a World War II tank. And so we have one more gift to share, and they're making it extra special for tank commanders who have been playing for at least 1 year, a brand new tank. So if you've been playing an entire year, then you will be able to receive this tank for free. But don't be fooled, this is indeed a heavy tank with a well-armoured angled turret that can take the hits, add to the mix an accurate 120mm gun, and you've got an assault vehicle that's built to celebrate the ages. Wargaming have provided the statistics of the vehicle, so we can have a look at that. In terms of what it looks like, looks actually really cool. I think that this is a nice looking tank. Whether it suits the World War II era, not entirely sure, but you can see here the turret is looking pretty weird. We don't have any kind of statistics as to the thickness of each of these, but you can see very well armoured mantlet alongside very well angled. But you have this box here on the right hand side, which although it is quite heavily armoured, one of the thickest places of armour, it's very flat, so I'm assuming unless it's like 300 and something millimeters thick, you're probably going to have this as a weak point. So the right hand side of the turret alongside maybe the left hand side, depending on if this spaced armor is actually spaced armor. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a weird one to actually reliably pen, and the side of the turret has these weird angles as well, which means that you're probably going to bounce off of certain areas if you don't know the weak points, and maybe we'll cover it in the tank review as to how you can actually pen this vehicle in the game. Now, when it comes to the hull armor, you want to be aiming at this lower plate. It's huge, it's big. Don't go auto aiming this tank. Looks like it could be quite a good one to actually stop all of those auto aimers, but as soon as you angle, looks like this area is going to become basically absolutely terrible, and you're most likely going to get penned every single time alongside through the tracks as well. So yeah, it looks quite interesting, but what are the stats? So straight off the bat, 2,200 hit points is brilliant. It's a tier 10, not too bad. It has a speed limit of 40 kilometers an hour, putting it on the higher end of kind of heavy tanks. Power to weight ratio 16.7, which is pretty good as well. Reverse speed 15 kilometers an hour. You have a 34 degrees a second hull traverse alongside a 28 degrees a second turret traverse, which isn't awful. Gun depression of 10 degrees makes it pretty fun when it comes to ridgelines and definitely usable. You have penetration of 265 with the standard rounds, which is basically on par with some of the higher tier kind of levels of penetration for a standard round in this kind of tier, I guess. 420 alpha is higher than what you see with the T110E5, for example, and a lot of the other kind of heavies that have these smaller caliber guns than the big ones like the E100 and stuff like that. So not bad at all. 330 penetration with the secondary rounds, which is the premium, which are heat rounds. So they're going to be very, very effective against angled armor. And of course, things like the E100s. So 330 heat pen with that. And then the HE actually isn't awful either, with 90mm of penetration and 515 damage. So might be worth taking a few HE rounds in this thing. You've got 2.3 second aim time, which is pretty decent, alongside a very decent 0.34 base accuracy, which will probably come down to like 0.25 accuracy with all of the bonuses you can have on the tank. Rate of fire, 5.5 rounds a minute, which is okay. But the problem is that the reload is 10.9 seconds for 420, making the damage per minute of this vehicle 2,300, which is definitely on the lower side. So even with all of the bonuses, you're probably getting this to about 3,000 DPM, which, to be honest with you, depending on how the armor actually holds up in the game, might be fairly well balanced. And hopefully this tank ends up being quite a well balanced vehicle. Armor is going to suck on the side armor, so it's really a case of frontal kind of vehicle and hoping that that weak point that is over here isn't going to be too much of a problem. So that's kind of where we're hoping that this tank goes, and it's going to be a bit of a decent vehicle, not overpowered, but simply a very decent vehicle to try out and a bit of a fun one as well. And now you get 400 meters view range, which is good, not bad at all. Signal range to 745, doesn't really matter about that. So how do you get the MBTB? So the MBTB will be available in the in-game store from February 13th through to March 4th in a bundle that includes its skin, and it will be available with a discount based on the number of years you've played. So in order to actually get the vehicle, you have to have played 1 year. And for the 1 year, you'll get a 15% discount on the vehicle. If you have 2 years, you'll get a 30%. If you have 3 years, 45%. If you have 5 years, 75%. If you have 6 years, 90%. And then if you've played for 7 or more years, you will get the tank for free. So this is really, really nice. Yes, you are seeing that correctly. If your account is at least 7 years old as of this February, you will receive the MBTB and its skin for free, which is amazing, and it will definitely be a great one. Alongside, basically, if you have played 5 years or more, it's probably worth picking this one up because we don't know how often we're going to see it. And with a discount like 75%, not bad at all, and even could be said for 4 years if you really want the tank. But lower than that, you're probably spending a lot of gold to pick up this vehicle, as a tier 10 premium usually costs like, 26,000 if you want that. And of course you can see 22,000 with a year, 18,000 with 2 years. If you've got 3 years, 14,000. And then 4 years, 10,000, which is a bit more reasonable considering it's a tier 10. You'll always get the Raider Hero skin as well, which is nice. And of course, free for anyone with 7 or more years, which happens to be me. So luckily we'll be able to pick this one up for free. Hopefully you guys will have a decent discount as well if you're watching this. But if you aren't, be sure to actually stay tuned for the full review of this vehicle and see whether it is actually worth kind of purchasing it with the discounts that you may or may not have, or maybe you just want to go all out and actually just buy the tank anyway regardless. But other than that, we have the Awaken the King Dragon. This in the event, this is an earn operation for the King Dragon. Now the King Dragon is a similar sort of vehicle to the Type 59-2. It's basically statistically identical apart from the fact that this one gets camo and apart from the fact that this one gets increased crew training bonus over the Type 59-2. The tanks are the exact same, which is literally, if you have one and you just want to play it because it's a premium tank that will earn you silver, there's no difference between the two tanks. This one just has a skin and means you don't have to spend silver on buying camo for the Type 59-2. And if you really want to train your crew, at this point in World of Tanks console, it's not too difficult anyway. So I wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to purchase this vehicle if you didn't, or go out of your way to complete this operation if it means you're going to be spending way too long kind of grinding through it. But it's there for anyone that's interesting. So either way, how do you get this one? Well, you dealing 1,000 or more damage in a battle will give you 1 point. Dealing 1,000 or more damage in a battle while in a dragon vehicle will give you 1 point. Those dragon vehicles are the Dragon Type 62, the King Dragon Type 59, which is this one, the Goronich KV5, and the WZ111 Quillim will give you an extra point. So if you're playing one of these and you also deal 1000 damage, you'll get 2 points. If you're only playing a random vehicle that isn't a dragon tank, then you only get 1 point. If you damage an enemy with fire, you'll get 1 point as well. So if you're playing any of the flamethrowers in the game, then you get 1 point. And if you block 374 or more damage in a battle, you'll get 1 point as well. So maximum 4 points in a battle, although I don't think any of these vehicles actually have fire. So probably the maximum you're ever going to get is 3 points in a battle. So yeah, still a very, very interesting operation. I like what they've done with these operations. I said it before in last week's news video, that having these kinds of things, very, very good. Of course, this is out right now. So over the weekend until the 5th of March, you'll be able to do this operation. And in order to actually get the tank itself, you're going to have got 250 points total. And alongside that, if you want to be able to actually get yourself a free skin as well, you get that along the way, which is the Year of the Dragon level 100 reward for the season pass as well. So you'll be able to get essentially the Cinnabar hero skin for the new season pass tank, which looks like this. Looks really cool. It's nice to have as an additional extra, and in order to get that, you need 200 points total. This operation shouldn't take an age to be able to complete over the entire month, so yeah, I think it will be a relatively easy one for most people who play casually to kind of more experienced players who play a little bit more should be able to get this. If you play occasionally, you're probably going to find it difficult to be able to complete it, but it's there if you're interested. So yeah, a very, very interesting lot of news for this week, but we have a little bit more. We can have a quick look at what the other update news is, and we have the Marder VTS-1, which is a new vehicle as well. It's this one right here. And the Marder VTS-1 is a Era 2 light tank that will be coming in for the Western Alliance. And it is apparently, according to Wargaming, no specific actual article at the moment, but it has excellent mobility with a high top speed, and that you can go the same speed in both forward and reverse. So it's a very, very fast vehicle that can go forward or backwards at the same speed, which is kind of crazy. Great accuracy and gun handling with a 105mm gun, which makes this light tank fill a fire support role. It hits just as hard as other classes, so it's not underestimated based on its class. It's a mix between light and tank destroyer, and if you've ever played the TCM AGS, this is kind of how this tank will probably play, in that sort of playstyle where you aren't really a light tank, but you're also not really a tank destroyer. It's kind of a hybrid, and it will be the first German light tank in Cold War that gives you a taste of what to expect from the upcoming tech tree line that is coming in Cold War. So yeah, very, very interesting. There's a Valentine's Day op as well, which can earn 3,500 XP to get a random Valentine emblem or inscription, and login reward as well, and get the Fell Imperator Commander as well. So yeah, not bad at all. Really looking forward to this next week. I think this week is a pretty good solid one, and I'm glad that they brought in this 10 years of World of Tanks, and hopefully next year we'll have the same sort of event whereby, you know, if you've done 7 years you'll get a free tank and stuff like that, and that will continue throughout the years, as console haven't really had that in the past. So yeah, really, really happy with how this new kind of week is going to be going. And of course, with the free chests and stuff like that, make sure to claim everything that you can, and don't forget that these will be available in the store. You have to actually go and pick up your MBTB in the store, yeah, unless you're getting it for free, which you will just be waiting in your garage when you log in on the 13th of February, so on Tuesday. Other than that, hopefully this video was brief, concise, and gave you everything you needed. If there's anything I missed or you noticed anything extra that you want to add to the conversation, then leave that in the comment section down below. And as always, you've been amazing, and I hope you join me back in the next videos. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.